Hello everyone, Blue Star Saber here once again to do another One Piece chapter review. Chapter 1114, The Wings of Icarus. Let's see, this chapter follows up from last week after Vegapunk's message is finally starting to tell the world where the five elders get desperate and trying to find a way to stop the recordings. Let's see, so much that you got some few matchups, particularly Sanji versus Nezjuro, leading to some wondering if Sanji perhaps will have him as the final opponent. And as well as the fact that the world has just found out that Vegapunk is indeed dead, and he has a shocking revelation for the world to say. But and he starts off with the main part of this truth is the fact that the world is about to sink. Let's see, why is it about to sink? What Vegapunk knows? How will the world react to what he has to say? Well, we're going to find out. Well, admit this is taking me a bit longer than I intended, though my birthday was on the weekend. And also, let's see, and also had some other things kept me occupied, like the UK just being suddenly announced into a general election. So, yeah, general election time, people. But yeah, but after all that delay, I'm finally getting a chance to do a One Piece chapter, and it'll be this one. But before we begin with the actual story, we learn that Kimimon has what task Kimimon has for Yamato in this cover spread where it's called Ogre Child Yamato's Golden Harvest Circuit Pilgrimage, Volume 4. Go enshrine the sword at the Hakumen Semu Shrine in Yasu's stead. That is your surrogate pilgrimage, where we see Kimimon giving instructions about where to go, which seems to be a trap all around Wano to place this, I believe, Yasui's sword in this shrine, I assume, his resting place, and Yamato's just saying thumbs up that that Yamato will do the job. So, yeah, it seems like we get an idea what Yamato's adventures in the land of Wano is, where Yamato takes the sword of Yasui, goes around Wano, and then probably just encounters all kinds of characters that we met during the arc, and then finally place the sword and maybe go off on his or her own adventures, depending on how you wish to pronounce Yamato's pronouns, I guess. But yeah, well, it's nice that we get a little idea of the story. At the moment, it seems a bit lighthearted, but let's see. Knowing these cover stories, something big will end up happening. Anyway, that's covered with. On to the actual chapter. The chapter begins at Navy HQ, where the Marines are shocked by Vegapunk's words, wondering what he's talking about. Among those Marines, we see Hina, and one of them, it looks like he's got the head of a hamburger. We also see Akainu just listening and just not really giving any emotion, just having the ... on the speech thing. And then we are cutting to Mocktown, where we see the citizens of Mocktown laughing, thinking that it's funny that that Vegapunk when he dies decides to say this bit of news, thinking that he's just throwing the world in chaos. Thinking that it's ridiculous, the idea that the world's going to sink, as we see him just laughing at his speech thing. And then we cut to Water 7, where we see the citizens seeing okay, I could believe it if it was around here, but he's like, wait, the whole world? No, wondering, he's not talking about higher tides and low tides, and this is where we see Polly and Pipalilula, Lulu, if you will, from the one of the other top Galala company, the one with the glasses. And then we cut to Imperial Down. Doflamingo goes laughing, with thinking that this is all rich and asking what happens when the sea water floods Imperial Down. Asking, Milligan that isn't it his job to ensure the prisoner's safety. the prisoner's safety with all this, which let's see, Milligan responds that that one water marine surprise the other day had the prison panicking and says, how many years does it take to sink the whole world? And Doflamingo gives us saying that most cities in the world will be wiped with an extra 5 meters in the water, asking Milligan if they should move to a higher ground, with Doflamingo sticking out his tongue with that sort of speech. And then we cut to like a Ryogo Kingdom Fishman Island, where Shirahoshi is asking, let's see what is going to happen. Is this true or not, depending on the translation? With Neptune thinking that, saying that this sounds a bit absurd, if we see him and a bunch of his royal guards and the two ministers and those of their pet sharks and whales listening in. And then we cut back to future island of Egghead, where Marines there are going like, what is he talking about? And something like saying that this is coming from the world's greatest scientist. He can wreak havoc on the world even with a lie. We see the, I believe the Vice Admiral, wrong page. I believe we got Vice Admiral, I believe this one here is, see, Vice Admiral, Marines. Yeah, I believe this one is Vice Admiral Hound, which I thought was once, which I will admit, I once thought it might have been that Mr. Rear Admiral that Fisher Tiger beat up once, but I was mistaken. But anyway, Vice Admiral Hound thinks this is utter nonsense from Vegapunk. Let's so yeah. And I'm just going to end, let's see, the summary of this bit here, the chapter at this point here, because looks like a good cut-off to give my thoughts here. I do like how we see a lot of the reactions, particularly many of the Marines are just like, particularly at HQ, let's see, we got varying mixed reactions from the Marines. The ones at HQ are confused by like Vegapunk's words, but you have like Hina and Akainu just listening in very intensely, and it makes me wonder, because these are like some of the more serious Marines. I do like some of Oda's creativity, like this Popeye-looking one, this hamburger one, and this eggplant-looking one, if I had to guess. I don't know. I could be just looking too into that one. But you just get all these, like, let's see, different kind of crazy designs that Oda has in the background. I think the burger one's going to get a lot of people's attention. But anyway, I do like how you have like Hina and Akainu listening closely in, because you know that these amongst the Marines are going to have some of the most important reactions to all the troops that Vegapunk has. Are these amongst the Marines that are going to defect from the world government, or are they going to double down, if you will? After all, from what we can tell, it seems like Akainu is getting fritz throughout those time skip, despite being Fleet Admiral, has gotten more and more frustrated with the Marines. And some point out that he's likely to probably maybe defect and turn the Marines into his own faction, where they try and do a military coup and set things his way with the absolute justice. Well, if the Marines are going to break away from the world government right now, but at the moment that may not necessarily be the case for the entire situation, as we see with Vice Admiral Hound. Those Marines are not going to believe this at all, thinking it's utter nonsense, and that whatever Vegapunk's just saying is just causing lies to cause chaos around the world. Which, yeah, regardless of whether or not people believe he has to say, let's see, his words are going to end up causing a bunch of chaos, because it's like the world's sinking. It's the end of the world. Everyone panic. You know, that kind of situation. So, yeah, I do like that. We got that little bit there. But it just goes to show that some Marines will probably just double down on the thing. And it makes me wonder if that means, let's see, if Akainu does break away, does that mean the world government puts someone like Green Bull, who seems to be a very loyal dog to the world nobles, as the next fleet admiral, which could be very interesting to see it that way. Granted, we have to wait and see what Green Bull's going to be doing long term. After all, he is the Marine with the least amount of development and growth. And screen time, so who knows? But that's just one way to go about it. But I definitely believe that at the very least, we're going to get Fujitora defecting from the world government, because it's like we saw him defy the world government during Dressrosa, and we saw the actions he took and the anger he had at the world nobles and the government at that point. Anyway, but yeah, we get all kinds of reactions of some people being skeptical or doubtful at all. Mocktown, which has not changed at all since Luffy, let's see, talking about Sky Island, seems to be just being complete mockery of Vegapunk with his words, thinking that oh, he's just causing chaos. This is complete nonsense. This is silly. So it seems like the people of Mocktown, despite seeing just how strong Luffy is, haven't really changed when it comes to being skeptical of like what sort of some people are saying, what some of the more outlandish claims are, which is let's see, many of them didn't really believe in the Sky Island. Granted, Luffy never really debunked it into their faces, but he did debunk, let's see, their perception of his strength against them. But it seems that that was all they were willing to bend. But they seem to not believe in the world sinking, which I will admit, it's when the world does end up sinking, the reactions I want to see the most are probably those from Mocktown, kind of like, oh my god, Vegapunk was actually right! Why did we laugh? That's kind of the reaction I want to see there. Now, interesting, we get the people of Water 7 reacting to like this news, and it's like they seem to be more mixed about it. It's like okay, I kind of believe, I can kind of buy the fact that let's see, our place is sinking because of like the tides and all that, but the whole world, that seems like too much and all that. Some of them are a bit doubtful, but granted, I do like how you got Polly there just listening in and all that stuff. Potentially, like I'm thinking like, you know what, Vegapunk might be onto something. Like, oh my god, this sinking thing is much worse than I have ever imagined. And all that, but yeah. But one of the other reactions. One of the reactions I'm most interested in seeing, of course, is Doflamingo is just laughing it off. It's like, oh, this is just so amusing. Milligan, you're going to have to protect us. So it's like, let's see, it seems like Doflamingo's trying to see if he can maybe get a chance to, like, let's see, use the current situation to get Milligan to take him much higher up from, like, this current prison, which may end up happening. So we might end up finding out how, Doflamingo does end up escaping Imperial Down due to the floods. They're forced to take him up, which means he could go high up and go up to the thing, go up to like the sea and escape. Maybe join Cross Guild, or maybe set his sights on killing the world nobles there. I mean, at the moment, I'm pretty certain most of the way Oda's been portraying them, they've been very unredeemable scumbags. So perhaps having a former noble like slaughter them all might be poetic justice in some regards, one they cast aside, but who knows? It depends how Oda wants to deal with the world nobles with this whole situation. But yeah. But I do like how him and Milligan are just having like this talk, with Milligan thinking like, talking even the possibility of like the prison being flooded and all that stuff, and wondering how the rest of the world, and we get an idea of what happened. Let's see, of how much more the world sinks. But let's see, Milligan talks about how Doflamingo feels that. Doflamingo says that we have another 5 meters, and the world and most cities will be flooded. So yeah. So apparently, if the weapon, which is likely to be Uranus, I believe, gets shot down from the sky and all that. Uranus, let's see, gets fired at least 5 more times. the majority of the world will be flooded, pretty much. So yeah, 5 more times and the world ends. I believe this is not the for those who are American watchers, not the way I think meters are not the way America does, and what the rest of the world views meters, which is 1 meter and all that stuff seems pretty high. But yeah, either way, we got an idea of what the end of the world's going to be like now, and of just how many more shots it will take to do it, and why it's probably going to be a very bad thing when the Mother Flame actually ends up happening. Gets acquired by the world government. Other than that, let's see, we got, of course, Shirahoshi and Neptune's reactions. It's kind of interesting to see the members of the Ryukyu Kingdom and the Fisherman Island react to this news. Let's see, they've been trying to live on the surface, but now it's like, the surface is going to sink. But Shirahoshi's just like, wait, could this be true? We see as she's really wondering the possibility, but Neptune is just saying it sounds absurd. Though, granted, they arguably probably don't realize that the world is going to end up flooding, and that these two are probably going to play them and the fishermen are likely to play a major part in saving everyone with like Noah. So it is interesting that we see the reaction, and hopefully curious to see their reaction later down when Vegapunk reveals some very interesting information. But yeah. Well, that seems to be just about everything about the first 3 pages. Now for the rest. Oops, hold on a second. There we go. That's better. Anyway, we then cut to like the 5 elders are saying that they need to destroy the transmission, the snails, saying this destroy any life forms you can hear, saying that everything else is a second priority. As we see York running, shouting, "How much is you going to tell them, how much are you going to tell them?" Stella getting angry at his words, saying, "God damn it." As Vegapunk goes on saying that, speaking in the near future for him, saying that if the sensors that he built are functioning correctly, and days after he's recorded this message, saying that there should be a most remarkable earthquake that strikes the entire planet. We see people, what appears to be Alabasta going like, huh? With like Vegapunk's words. And then we see none other than Charlotte Smoothie and Charlotte Montador, where Smoothie's going like, wait, is he talking about the earthquake from today? But wondering like, isn't Vegapunk dead? And then we cut to the surrounding island where one of it's already sunken, where he says, as a result, the sea should rise about 1 meter around the world, rendering some islands uninhabitable. And this is one of those islands at sea, with some of them being shocked by saying, wait, is this a prophecy by Vegapunk? Oh, sorry, pardon me. Saying that, and also saying that beaches around the world will be lost for good. And then we cut to, I believe, was actually, I believe, Long Land, where I think you see Tonjet and his horse Shelly. Let me just double check. I've got the names. Yep, Shelly the long horse. So yeah, you got them just listening in with their people. Him seemingly using stilts, which maybe looks like he's using them on water, perhaps preparing for like I think he used the stilts to prepare for something like this. And then we cut to like let's see, bunch of member pirates from Hachinosu going like, "Hey, this is freaky, man. He totally nailed it." With Aokiji just listening in, silently listening to what Vegapunk has to say. Probably realizing that, okay, this might be what Ohara was talking about, the secrets and all that. But anyway, we get Vegapunk saying that if this is not where he's going when this whole message saying, if I'm wrong with this prediction, feel free to discard the rest of the message. But if it happened, telling them that you should hear what he has to say very carefully, and saying that revealing this particular earthquake is not exactly what you call a natural phenomenon, as we see the whole of Egghead, well, at least the top bit of the Labosphere, where Saturn is fighting the Straw Hats, where Saturn is just shouting angry, saying Vegapunk not to say another word. Where we see the Usopp and Nami's group fighting them now with Lilith there. She's shooting, I believe, something at him. Well, you see Brock trying to slash with his sword. Nai using a thunder tempo. Let's see Chopper continuing the guard point and protecting Robin. With them just trying to tell him to go away. With Vegapunk saying in his own way, I only ever hoped for peace. But the Straw Hats get blown away by Saturn's attack, but Robin uses the net to protect them, and it seems like a Chopper's the guard point finally deflates against Saturn's attack as he ends up just shouting "Be gone," just completely ignoring them as he runs off towards the lab. But going on, this is the first root of his root. This was the root of his first sin. Where we get some, I believe, to be some thought speeches saying, "What about the power plant, Mars?" and him saying, "Not yet." But he's saying that chamber must not be harmed of all else, and he will go. With him, Vegapunk saying, "I dreamt of a source of endless internal energy, and in my desire to push the world forward into the future." Where Saturn just goes like, he reaches inside the lab and goes like, "I'm a mother flame." As we finally see it, and let's see a little flame in liquid, surrounded by a giant mechanical spear of sorts. With Vegapunk, let's see with the S108 there, and a sort of AMU thing there, and as well as the him saying I flew too close to the sun, hence the title of the chapter, Icarus. With Vegapunk saying destroy it, let's see with the Saturn saying destroy every last sign of life in the lab, as we see him using a stick to hit the Den Mushis. As he just keeps going, not that one either, and that ends that bit of the part of the chapters that I am willing to summarize. So yeah, now my thoughts on this bit here. On a sec. I do like how, as Vegapunk has just revealed that whole sinking phenomenon for the rest of the world, the five elders just getting like really desperate now. So it's like, we got to destroy everything. Anything else, destroy any life that breathes. If it's a Denmirshi or whatever, destroy it. Anything else comes secondary, because it's like, let's see, oh shoot. The world's about to learn all our dark secrets. And even York's just getting angry and panicking. It's like, damn it, Stella, how much are you going to tell them? Do you know what this is going to do to my chances to become a world noble? But yeah, I do like how you got Alabasta in the background. But I do like how Vegapunk, using his calculations and predictions, end up guessily correcting that there was going to be an earthquake in a couple of days from the recording, and that the water would rise to 1 meter and islands end up starting to sink. And this is where we start to see people like members of the big mom pirates and citizens and members of like Blackbeard's crew and just regular citizens going like, wait a minute, oh my god, he guessed this correctly. There's some wondering, like, wait, isn't he dead? Or like, wait, is he a prophet? Or like, how on earth did he totally guessed it or something? You know, all those kind of reactions. Anyway, it's interesting to see Charlotte Smoothie and Montador still around. So, yeah, let's see, as Wano said at the end. World government said. Let's see, the Big Mom Pirates are still cooking. Granted, I'm very curious to see their reactions and all that, since we know that and what they end up, these members of the Big Mom Pirates do, because they pretty much learned that their captain is arguably dead, and they're no longer considered Yonko crew. And not to mention, another Yonko crew attacked them and stole, the one member of their family that can read the Poneglyphs, or potentially read them, if Putin ever awakens her powers. But anyway, I like how the guy from Long Ring Land, from like the Foxy arc, is in the same sort of panel line as Aokiji, and they have sort of similar reactions. It is interesting to see how Kiji's here, because it seems like what Vegapunk is saying might just confirm every kind of thing that the doubt and suspicion and trust he had with the world government, and probably making compliment about how he made the wrong choice with Urahara. I pretty much expect him to say that at that point. But yeah, I do like how Vegapunk says that if those predictions aren't correct, you can ignore the rest I have to say. But if not, listen to what I have to say. And of course, since most people seemingly think that he's telling the truth, they're clearly listening. Now, I wonder if some thinking like, okay, he's probably staging this. But I'm pretty certain, like, once you've done like a guess that accurate, people are gonna like pay attention to what you say, even if they don't believe it in the end. So props to that. All right, I do like it. See more of the sort of desperation. You get Saturn just like completely ignoring the straw hat, the minor straw hats, just try and go inside the lab and destroy the mother flame. Arguably, I guess you could maybe count this as a win for Saturn, but because the straw hat, most of the straw hat crew could do nothing towards him, even though they tried their best with attacks, even Lilith. But they end up being saved by Robin. Let's see, when he blew past them and all that stuff. So, yeah. Anyway, we finally get the Mother Flame, and it looks like something from the NL cover story where this is like this flame thing in a sort of like temple circle, and you see like I think the three winged tribes that Shandians and Skypians and whatever race NL was. Let's see, what came from the moon and all that stuff. So yeah, this is giving some hints of like the big mystery of the Mother Flame, and it looks like the Sky Tribes might have had something to do with it, particularly the Lunarians, and that might lead to more mysteries about it down the line. I think Mr. Moji has quite a few theories, and I think even King of Lightning are probably more inclined for like Moji's, but yeah. I do like how in Saturn's desperation, he's just trying to destroy, wreck everything just to find it, minus the Mother Flame. And I do like how it's encased in this like giant spear with liquid surrounding it, just to kind of show you just how powerful this Mother Flame is, but it just seems to be able to withstand liquid. So yeah, it's nice that we finally get an idea of what sort of energy source the world government will be using in the final arc and saga for this war and all that. Like when the world goes against them. Anyway, we can't like come back to Vegapunk going like, allow me to explain. As we see close-ups of the flame, we then cut to Marines just trying to shoot down like the giant robot, but none of the attacks even work, and not even so it's so much as a flinch, where you've got like Vegapunk going allowed to explain. Who was it saying? Allow me to do narration saying, "Allow me to explain what is actually happening to our world." Well, we see Luffy in the 5. Let's see Luffy now in Gear 5 again with like Broggy and Doggy running away. Let's see from like the Top Man Wokury's seemingly flame powers. Let's see saying that they should retreat before they get roasted alive. With Vegapunk's then saying that for about 900 years ago to 800 years ago period of a century, there's a span of history that's completely entirely blank, and we see Emo just listening in quietly, and then we get just regular celestial dragons go like, "Hey, what are you doing, Navy? You just make him stop talking," as Vegapunk goes on saying how we call it the Void Century because all the records of that time were eliminated. And it means that it's a lost piece of history. And then we see, I believe, Charles's younger brother. Hold on. Where we see, let's see, I believe it is Sharla, where she has no idea what the Void Century is, whether you got the other world nobles demanding that an execution's too good for him, and someone to bring his body so he can mutilate the corpse, which, damn, that's dark. And then we cut to what appears to be let's see, Jaguar de Sol, if you will, lying back, listening in the forest to like Vegapunk's message. He's going saying to find the message from the past in the forms of polyglyphs scattered across the world, where he's just laughing his Durishishishi, and as Vegapunk goes on about how to decipher its contents. And then we cut to like Orange Town, where we see what appears to be oops, wrong page again, where we see Bodhi and Chocho, what appears to be perhaps Bodhi's granddaughter, at least one of the citizen girls here, where we see her talking about how long ago the 20 kings who got together and created the world, asking if Vegapunk actually knows that or not. But I believe Bodhi just asks Chocho what he thinks, and he just does a rough, if you will. And then we see hold on. I'm tired. Where's the Amazons? Oh yeah, Kujapies. We get Margarita, Cosmos, and then Belladonna just silently listening to what Vegapunk is saying how the world government has made it a crime of the highest order to read these messages from the polyglyphs. And even though he's a member of the world government himself, he broke the law, and saying that was his second sin. And saying that he threw the city, talking about how he followed the footsteps of these brilliant scholars, pretty much, and that he was able to hand out some text and the number of polyglyphs, which he deciphered. There's Brock then shouting out Zoro and Jinbei's name to hurry up, as let's see, from the remaining Straw Hats against Saturn there, saying and continued studying it as Vegapunk goes on how he continued to study it to the best of his abilities. And he does not regret doing so in the slightest. Hold on a second, that's just 2 more pages, but I just need to quickly get something. Could be back in a sec. Sorry about that. I am back. Anyway, as Vegapunk goes on about history tells a story, with the Straw Hats going like, wait, something moved, realizing that one of the clouds moved. As Nami points it out, saying that they're extending upwards. Brock saying, so this is what Edison was saying when he said he would touch down the water and all that. And Usopp realizing that with the cloud stretched out further, they can reach out to the sea. As we see him Edison in a sort of huff and a bandage around one of his eyes, saying Straw Hats to get off the island and don't let the world government lay a finger on you, as it seems like he's determined to. Looks like he's going to be staying behind and making at the very least the Straw Hats escape. And then we cut to the final double-page spread where we see Vegapunk saying, "In other words, what I know is an incomplete story of the 100-year void," saying that it would be dishonest to fill in the blanks with own speculation. As we see a bunch of Marines shouting out fire. So he'll leave with only certified truth, what he says. And I believe we got Groggy. Yeah, I believe it is a close up of Broggy going like telling Luffy not to push his luck, as Vegapunk goes like the main character of the story was born into a kingdom with impossible advanced civilization 900 years, where we see Luffy just using a giant Gum Gear 3rd type fist in Gear 5, saying, "I just want to fight her, yeah." Punches Top Man Walker in the nose as Vegapunk goes on about how, like the sun god Nika spoke in the legend of Elbaf, he fought with a body strapped and contracted, and saying that his name was Joe Boy. And then Luffy, his attacks seemingly have no effect. Instead, just causes to set flame and fire and end up hurting himself. With the giants just laugh, Broggy and Doggy just laughing, asking Luffy not to make him laugh. As you see Luffy crying out in pain, with Vegapunk just continue on saying, and he was the very first man of the sea to be called a pirate, ending the chapter on that cliffhanger. Anyway, overall thoughts on like these last bits of the chapter. Anyway, I do like how you've got like let's see. Granted, one thing I will say is like it seems like a bit soon that Luffy has transformed back into Gear 5 again after just being deflated like from like a chapter ago, I think. Granted, I guess you could say he got fed again, but this is going by really fast, so it seems like I think Oda's just trying to go back and forth of trying to find like weaknesses to Gear 5 here. But nevertheless, it seems like he's found one where it seems like even in Gear 5, Luffy ends up hurting himself when he tries to punch Top Man Valkyrie. So it seems to like he's got like the best endurance in the world of One Piece, because I don't think any enemy of Luffy's Gear 5 has been able to do that kind of thing. So yeah, that is like an impressive. But yeah, nevertheless, we get an idea of Luffy. But I do like how it's like when he's doing his actions, Vegapunk's words of parallel with what he's like, what he's saying to what Luffy is doing, if you will, with like the Sun God Nika pose, if you will. Anyway, it's interesting to see that the Worldbot is just currently walking, and that the Marines are unable to do anything about it. But yeah, so it makes me curious where that robot is going. My guess is to either help Luffy or take down like the 5 elders, because they're descendants from the 20 kingdoms. So we'll have to wait and see on that part. But an interesting thing we learn here is that, at least with like Charles's sister, who has been absent for so long, has finally made an appearance. But we end up learning that, at the very least, some world nobles have no idea what the Void Century even is, and probably don't even know about it. So they have no idea what their ancestors did and how they did it when they created the world, which includes probably arguably fighting against Joe Boy. Now, granted, I don't know if this is going to be something that has a heel turn against them, because Oda's done quite a very big job of showing the world nobles as these irredeemable monsters, though even if they are from the circumstances they grew up in, with like all the spawn and pampering, they still did wrong and evil and all that. I mean, and also not to mention, the one good world noble got executed by the God's Knight, so I don't think they are going to be affected too much, but it seems that some of them at the very least know and some of them don't know about the Void Century. And those that do know are not happy that it's being told. So we're very interesting to see that reaction, especially since we also got like a silhouette of Emu there listening in of what is going on in this conversation. Let's see. Now, granted, I will admit, with Saul, I was more optimistic and positive that his return is just because of the emotions Robin felt. But I can see some more of the side that think like he should probably remain dead because of the impact he has on Robin's backstory. So, yeah. Granted, I do like how he's just laughing and just like, ha 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 ha. Looks like see the truth, no harms are finally going to be revealed to the world, you scumbags. I mean, granted, yeah, I am a bit more mixed on Saul coming back, but it seems Oda has some plans for him, so I'll have to wait and see at the very least. Even if some people feel like they were robbed from the emotional farewell he had with Robin back in his Robin's flashback, all the way in LMS lobby and Water 7, if you will. Anyway, I do like how Vegapunk just talks about how his sins are like going too close to the sun, or he literally read the poneglyphs, but he has no regrets on doing those, and it's like now wants to reveal the truth of what he's actually managed to find from this information. And I do like how he emphasized that it's not like 100% filled in, and he's not going to bias himself by putting in some details he does not know what is true or not. So showing a sort of commitment to like making sure that this, at the very least, is correct, and the world has an idea of what's going to be happening and what's going to be said during this whole period. But yeah, about let's see Vegapunk revealing the truth to the world. Yeah, Ima's reaction is interesting because it's like crud Joe Boy again. Anyway, I do like how you go all the way back to Orange Town, where you get like the mayor with appears to be his granddaughter listening in on the 20 kings and queens with her woman. Isn't that the story that we taught in school? She's just showing you how big the propaganda is, but it seems like she's going to be in a bit of a wake-up call with what else has been planted here. So we'll have to wait and see how that bit of storyline leads, but yeah. I just do like how the mayor from like Orange Town is just like you know what? What do you think? Just asking everyone's opinions, even like a dog's opinions, which some might think is crazy, but who knows? But yeah. Anyway, I do like how we learn that Edison sacrificed himself to have the clouds move, so the Straw Hats could land their ship on the water without worrying it being smashed by the giant robot not working or them just falling down. But yeah, I do like that. And from the looks of things, it does look like Edison might end up dying, which is interesting because I thought he might have been one of the 3 Vegapunks that survived, but it's clearly wrong. It seems like at the end of this, either Lilith and Atlas or both end up surviving, but we'll have to wait and see what those remaining Vegapunks would do now that all the others are dead, besides York, who they all probably hate for betraying them. So we have that bit. So I do like seeing some of the Amazons reacting because it's like they're all like secure in this like bit of the calm belt where no one can really invade into recent months. But now they're learning like, oh wait, our world's gonna sink. Oh my god, we're gonna have to leave and all that. I was like, they have nowhere to go and all that. But it'll be interesting to see, particularly like Ritzy, because like if Bo Hancock's listening in, she's going to probably try and use this as an excuse to go off to find Luffy to make him her husband, if you will, which likely he's going to turn down. But yeah. Anyway, I do like how Vegapunk talks about his sins, one of them being that he flowed to look close to the sun like Icarus, and the other is just more based on like the egg hatching from the Pokemon Go events you see, which you see now and then. But anyway, I do like how Edison is just willing to sacrifice himself just so that the Straw Hats could end up escaping. And they all realized this. For some of them, I think particularly Nami trying to go back, but they were stopped as a result. But yeah. But I do like how Vegapunk saying, even though he doesn't have all the information, is willing to tell the world what he knows. And that is actually ends up being the tale of Joy Boy, where we learn that he's actually from the Great Kingdom. He did eat the Hito no Mi or Nika fruit. And the most shocking revelation at all that no one, I think, saw coming was that Joe Boy was considered the first pirate that went out to seas. So he's like the first pirate king, blah, 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 blah. Either way, he was a guy as a pirate, and which is very emphasized on Luffy, like I'm fighting Top Man Rokuri and all that. So yeah. So I do like how we've got that little bombshell about Joe Boy. Which I think I'm glad that the whole devil fruit thing is solid, because some think that Nico was its own thing, but no, it's mostly from the devil fruits, at least as far as we know. And I do like like I said earlier, Edenson's sacrifice, but I also like seeing them Luffy in reaction, even though it doesn't go good for him, and I do like Doggy and Broggy's reaction. I also like how they react to just Vegapunk just talking about Joe Boy for the first time. It makes me wonder how the members of the Ryuga Kingdom are going to react to this, since they already know who he's referring to, Joe Boy, as they got a letter from a apology and a promise for him years down the line. It seems like they're probably going to realize, like, oh crap, this is going to happen now. So there's that. Granted, I'm curious to see how the rest of the world reacts to the fact that Joe Boy was actually a pirate, and how that might affect pirates in the future. But yeah. Anyway, I think that's all the thoughts that I have, at least that I can think of. But yeah, I do like that we got more confirmation that Joe Boy's from the Ancient Kingdom. He's also the first pirate, and also he does have the Luffy's devil fruit first. So which some thought, like, oh no, he must have been the incarnation of Joe Boy, but no, it was the devil fruit. So I'm glad that was sorted out. But yeah. You got that. You got more people reacting, some doubting at first, but then believing it once Vegapunk guesses the predictions right from what his data shows. Luffy struggling against Topman Mokuri. Let's see, the Mother Flame reveal. Let's see, the Straw Hats trying their best to stop Saturn, but he plows through them so quite easily. So, yeah, overall, I think it is a good chapter, and I give it, like, say, 8 out of 10. I think there's some nitpicks there and there, but overall, I think it's an enjoyable chapter with a lot of revelations. But anyway, I think it's time for me to head off, as I'm getting a bit tired now and it's losing focus. But for those who do this, end up listening in, I hope you enjoyed what I had to say. I am Blue Star Saber, signing off. Thank you for listening, everyone, and goodbye. And I'll see you again for the 1115th chapter of One Piece, and the follow-up for that one. But yeah, anyway, I am heading off now. Goodbye, everyone.